When I started doing this news gig a few months ago, there was one thing that I did not expect to happen, and it's just that I'm constantly turning up very interesting little nuggets from searching the interwebs for something interesting that's going on. And today I get to bring you something really special. I'm kind of mixing things up because I'm bringing you one little piece of news paired with a review, and I'm only going to talk about one thing today, not a bunch of articles, just one, and one film. And YouTube specifically, interestingly enough. Today I want to talk to you about milk and cereal. As always, I'm your host, Blaine Andrews, and the creator of Criticalist.com, so make sure the first thing you do is go check out Criticalist.com. You can find us in the Android and Apple app stores, and then subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff as well, because it helps us a ton with us being a new channel. Just keeps pushing that algorithm along. Now, I just want to go ahead and dig straight into milk and cereal, and this whole little saga of me discovering this was quite interesting. Basically, I was just surfing along, and I went onto Variety to see what they had been talking about today, and I was actually a little bit off as far as this piece of news. I somehow missed it like a day or two ago. And so the article here is How Milk and Cereal, a clever slasher movie made for $800, yes, I repeat, $800, and released for free on YouTube, becomes a must-watch for horror fans. And so I saw this, and it instantly grabbed me. I was like, this sounds super cool. I want to see what this is about. And then I kind of looked at this image, and I was like, something about this looks familiar. This person looks familiar. And so I started looking through the article, and I saw this name, Curry Barker. And I'm like, I recognize that name as well. Now, if you're on Criticalist, you might know that I have regularly been accused by the boomers of being a TikTok kid, even though I'm in my 30s, and, you know, that's just a whole nother story, but it's because I'm always calling them boomers, so I guess I deserve it. But anyways, one thing special about me being a TikTok kid is that it makes me ahead of culture. It makes me get to, you know, just be just ahead of what's going on, because TikTok is typically ahead of all the other platforms, even YouTube. And so I knew who Curry Barker was, and it made me take a look at That's a Bad Idea's YouTube channel. Now, the interesting thing is, I have followed them elsewhere, I think on Instagram and on TikTok specifically, but I didn't know that they had stuff over on YouTube. And I also did not know that they had been creating films. And specifically, Curry is the one that has been making these films. Now, the other two have been shorts, but this is I guess you could consider it a feature-length film. It's 62 minutes long, and actually, according to the article, apparently not long before they decided to release it, he cut it down by another like 20 or 30 minutes because he just wanted this thing to be very brisk and something that you could really pretty easily digest, and it most definitely is that. But I saw this article. I knew that these guys are hilarious. If you do not follow That's a Bad Idea, first off, just do that. I mean, you can see they've got like 636,000 subs on YouTube and over like 1 million on TikTok, because apparently growth over there is a bit different. But these guys are hilarious. They put out a ton of fantastic shorts, and then they also do other stuff throughout the channel that you should just really check out. I find myself sharing their stuff a lot, but when I saw that they had this film and that it was a horror film, because all I know these guys from is comedy, and they are extraordinarily funny. It's these two best buddies, and basically it's Curry here, and then also Cooper Tomlinson, who's also part of this, and he produced this film. But just the fact that they made this for $800 is pretty rad, and it is a found footage, which works perfect for a smaller budget type thing. And so I was like, I gotta check this out. But just so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I heard from this article, what it's saying is the filmmaker and comedian is a mastermind behind Milk and Cereal, a 62-minute horror feature about YouTube pranksters who get caught up in some rapidly escalating crises that ideally aren't spoiled in advance. Made for only $800, the film's co-stars Barker and Tomlinson, who's the producer. The duo mainly posts sketch videos to their TikTok and YouTube channels from That's a Bad Idea, and they previously did a short called The Chair. And so what it's saying is that The Chair has been viewed 5.5 million times. And as of this article, when it was posted, this current Milk and Cereal has been viewed 323 times, or 1,000 times, and it's even higher than that now as of when I viewed it as well. And it's kind of starting to become talked about because it's interesting. It's riding this line between kind of a feature film, something longer, and then also a short. Like, this definitely isn't a short at an hour long. This is pretty robust, and I mean, this is just something that is really speaking to our current culture and where we are with, especially even the horror genre. And we see the guys, the Raka Raka guys, who recently put out a film and it did gangbusters. And I think these guys are on that same path. And it sounds like actually what is going on is that this was under wraps, and basically they were working on getting distribution, and they were talking to a lot of people, and then basically they said, you know what, I'm not going to do that. They're just going to end up putting it behind a paywall. A lot less people are going to see it. We have this YouTube with a big following, and we're just going to release it on there. And it's brilliant, and a lot of people have been saying that YouTube is the future even for film, and it seems like that's actually coming to fruition, and guys like these are taking the benefit. And I mean, they were able to run multiple ads through this video. And now, you know, with YouTube ads paying out, I don't exactly know how that works for these guys, but I mean, still, you know, this gets it in front of most likely more eyes than sticking it onto some other platform where it might just totally get lost. And I think that this was a smart move for them. And I instantly read this article, turned around and watched it, and then decided to make a video on it, which is pretty cool. And it makes it very easy. And what I'm doing here is giving a call to action, because now I can follow up by saying, I have seen this. It is excellent. I loved it. I will be dropping a review on Criticalist. Right now, there is none, and I'm hoping that there will be more after dropping this video, and you guys check it out. I'm going to be pumping it out on Criticalist and making sure that you all guys see this, all of y'all see this video and get to check it out and review it. It's an easy watch, and I just had a blast. I really don't want to say a whole lot about it, but the story is fantastic. There are little bits where these guys do lean into their comedy, and that works very well, but it's suspenseful and very well made for $800. I mean, I know and have friends that have made short films, and they tend to cost even substantially more than this at being a short, but they went that found footage route, and they made some really interesting choices. And typically, you know, these types of films can be hard to navigate just because you're like, well, who's got the camera? You know, why is this being filmed? And all of that is explained really well. They navigated just the found footage aspect extraordinarily well, especially for what this is, and, you know, just this excellent, you know, execution that they've managed to pull off, and how he cut it down I did find really interesting. I would honestly be intrigued in seeing that longer version and what that might have been and whether it was worth cutting down. But these guys understand the modern attention spans. It's one of the things we've been talking about a lot in Criticalist, and he seemed to lean into that. He understands that TikTok world. He understands that people want things fast and quick, and honestly, we've been getting bludgeoned to death with overly long films. So something like this is an interesting approach, and I'm interested to see how it does over time. Now, one of the things it said here that I wanted to highlight was it said, despite getting a solid reception from Milk and Cereal, Barker isn't sitting around popping champagne. He's currently casting a feature film called Obsession. James Harris, who has produced horror hits such as Fall and 47 Meters Down, is attached via T-Shop Productions banner. And he said, I've never had a budget in my life, Barker says. I worked on this script for over 8 months back and forth and this production company, and it's been absolutely amazing. Although details including the logline are under wraps, Barker says that shooting is expected to start in late October. It's horror, completely horror, he says. It's terrifying. It's going to be insane. This movie is unlike anything I think anyone's ever seen. It's so different from Milk and Cereal. I'm not in it, and it will not be a found footage movie. It'll be shot more like The Chair. Now, the interesting thing here is that he says that he's not in it, and if you take a look at Milk and Cereal, he is kind of the lead actor in this. He's playing a character called Milk. That's his nickname. And Cooper, who does an excellent job with him as well. You can see their photos both right here. Cooper is kind of the secondary in this film. They both do awesome. These guys work great together. That's the only thing that bums me about this next film a little bit. It's just a simple fact that they're not going to be in it, or at the very least, Curry's not going to be in it. I think he is a fantastic actor. His delivery is great. He knows how to lean into his best aspects and does that great. These guys are fantastic. I kind of can't gush about this enough. I'm so excited for these guys' future, and I feel like most of you will be too after you see this and see what these guys can become in the future and check out more of their stuff on their YouTube. I think that they are nailing comedy. They are just nailing horror now. Like, this is just very impressive, and this is super cool. Like I said, I'm not wanting to spoil a whole lot about this movie, but I will put the article in the show notes, and I will also at them and go ahead and put the link to this movie as well. You can watch it right here on YouTube for free, so make sure to check it out. And more than anything, go drop your review of Milk and Cereal on Criticalist, and I'll put that review link in there so that you guys can do that. But this is excellent. kudos to these guys. Seriously, this is a serious accomplishment. Great job. Like, their storytelling is on point, and I cannot wait to see where this goes in the future and what these guys do. I think they have a very, very bright future ahead, whether it be in comedy, horror, both, all of the above. This is ground floor that you're getting on with these guys, so it is worth seeing. So go check out Milk and Cereal. Let me know what you think on Criticalist. And as always, do all the things I said before with downloading the app and following the channel and all that. And let me know what you think about Milk and Cereal down below and in Criticalist as well. And we will see you again tomorrow. Later.